Hey everyone, this is Chris here with Daily Motor, and today we've got the infotainment tour and demo on the 2022 Toyota Rav4 and its 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a walk around it. So this particular Rav4 is the Prime, the plug-in hybrid that everyone has been trying to get their hands on for the past couple of years. And, well, they're pretty hard to come by, but luckily we have one at our disposal today. If you want to learn more about the Rav4 Prime, we will have links in the description to a full review and some older videos that we've done here with the Rav4 Prime. But today we're going to be taking a look at the technology in this car, the infotainment screen, and a brief look at the cluster. So let's go ahead and hop in and get started. As you can see, we have two analog gauges on either side of our screen in the middle here. I guess technically it's 3 gauges because you've got your regular Toyota hybrid gauge here on the left, and then you've got a percentage for your hybrid battery and a fuel gauge as well. In the middle here, we have a number of different displays that we can go through. We'll go through them now. This is just the standard display, gives you your range for gas as well as hybrid, your eco score, and your EV ratio. These all kind of tie in together. Excuse me. You get to those by going up and down on the pad. You can also change going right and left. You can go through a couple of different menus here. This one's got a couple different tabs. We've got a trip computer. You've got your hybrid driving display. You've got your tire pressure there, and your all-wheel drive torque distribution. You can also scroll through and toggle on and off driver aids in this menu, as well as change settings for your cluster. View messages there, and then come back around to our main screen. So not too much functionality here on the cluster, but I think just enough for a cluster. I don't really think that there's anything else in there that would need to happen. As far as steering wheel controls go, everything on there is controlled with these arrows over here on the left, but you can also skip songs on the right-hand side and activate a couple different driver assists, adjust your distance for radar cruise, turn on or off lane tracing, which is just Toyota's way of saying lane keep assist. You've also got controls on the left-hand side for volume and voice command. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this pretty simple and pretty well-known at this point 9-inch touchscreen. With this package in the car, you also get an 11-speaker JBL sound system. And if you want to know what that sounds like, I'll have Charlie's sound system test linked down below. But today we're going to be focusing on this touchscreen display. But before we get into the touchscreen part, let's take a look at these physical buttons. You've got 4 on each side, plus a knob below them. We've got a home button, which just takes you to the menu that we're on right now. A menu button to take you to your different icons, an audio button to take you to your audio source, a map button, of course, for our navigation map. We've got a volume knob as well as a power on and off for your audio knob. It doubles as that. On the right-hand side, we have buttons to seek or change tracks, to go forward and backward. You've got a phone button, which will take you probably now, to Apple CarPlay, because I've got my phone lined in. So whether you have your phone Bluetoothed or line in for something, the phone button will take you to whatever you have. And apps will take you to the second page there of your menu for just different, if you own this car, having different apps here. We also got a tune knob here, which will show off when we go back to the radio menu to tune through different radio stations and so on. Let's go ahead and go back home. Default display here for home is your media source with whatever you're listening to. Quick access here to your phone projection. And then quick access as well to your navigation map on the right-hand side. Up top, we've got our clock as well, which all you have to do is press on it and it will take you to clock adjustment. You can turn on 24-hour time format or just manually adjust your clock in this menu. Okay, cool. So there is the basics of this system. Pretty easy to navigate, nothing too complicated, and everything is right out here in front of you. I kind of appreciate the fact that they do have physical controls, physical buttons that you can actually push to get you to different menus. Let's go ahead and go to the menu tab, and you can see that we have a number of different icons here. There aren't too many different things that these icons do that you can't already do just from the physical buttons, but we'll go ahead and go through them anyways. This will take you to a destination assist, or you can search yourself here on your navigation system. Got a keyboard here. You can type in a destination or a point of interest. I usually like to test out these systems' voice command and see if it can take me to the nearest Starbucks. Starbucks. Okay, so it looks like that will just type it in for you, and then we have to manually hit search. Should be thinking of that as a POI. Perfect, okay. So you can see all of our nearby Starbucks there, and that seems to work pretty nicely. One extra step to hit search, but whatever, no big deal. Back to menu, we can click on audio. You can see that we are listening to some Conan Gray currently, and that is just coming from Apple CarPlay, but you're able to see that on a different menu as well. Just switched to a different song there. Phone menu just takes you back to Apple CarPlay, but if you have your phone Bluetooth, it'll prompt you to make a phone call, send a text, whatever that may be. But nowadays, I feel that everyone really just has phone projection, and seems to be the most desired outcome here. That takes you to your apps menu that we looked at earlier. Another way to get to Apple CarPlay, a ton of those. Info screen, kind of just like serious, things like that. You can see our weather on here and a couple of other things. And a setup menu for our different settings. General settings here, you can turn off that horrible beep, which I've just done. You don't have to listen to that anymore. Change different things like your temperature units, your keyboard layout, driver settings, and more there. You can see audio settings. You can adjust different things in here. Voice command settings, vehicle settings, navigation settings, Wi-Fi settings. So all of your different settings are in here. Seems to react pretty quickly. Not having too much of an issue getting around in this infotainment screen. So let's go, where haven't we gone yet? Let's go to the radio and take a look at how that works. We'll take a look at the seek and track buttons. We're already on menu, audio, and then we'll just change our source over here. As you can see, source, and we'll go to FM. Turn this down so we don't get demonetized. But over here, we've got our presets on the bottom right. You can tune here with this knob. As you can see, it's tuning through some stations, or you can use these buttons up at the top if you just want to go one at a time. You can go back and forth with these. So pretty convenient if you have a passenger in the car. They're able to easily reach these buttons. You can also adjust your sound in this menu as well. Treble, mid, and bass. Turn on your automatic sound levelizer and so on. But all of that is pretty easily accessible in this menu and pretty easy to use as well. So let's get out of here and take a look now into Apple CarPlay. You can see just a regular view here on CarPlay, but it does take up the whole screen. 4 apps across, 2 apps down, no wide view, but the icons are pretty large here. Decent resolution, and it reacts quite quickly as well. Decent refresh rate, not the fastest I've seen for CarPlay, but I'd say that this is quite adequate. Take a look into Spotify. Sometimes I find myself, my finger gets kind of stuck on this material they use for the screen. It's like a very matte and, I hate to say, it feels kind of old-fashioned, like this kind of material. I was just driving a 2013 Mazda this week, and it had a screen that, like, the material felt just like this. So kind of a dated material for the screen and feels a little old when you touch it. Let's take a look at Waze. Quick reaction there from Waze, and we'll also look at ChargePoint. This is a plug-in hybrid car, so if there's any places, I guess, with level 2 charging, then you'd maybe want to take a look. Google Maps. Pretty nice. And then you have a Toyota icon here to get back to your home screen, or your menu, rather. Okay, let's go ahead and unplug the iPhone and plug in the Android. Take a look at what Android Auto looks like. Probably going to have to hold this. It's going to prompt me. Ooh, this phone is at 2%. Okay, should probably do better with that. Get some Android Auto pulled up here. Android Auto connected. Okay, welcome to Android Auto. Continue. Moment of truth, everyone. What do we have here? Okay, and we have a full screen display for Android Auto, and it actually looks like a pretty good resolution as well. Sometimes Android Auto just looks old and dated and runs like crap, but it seems to be running just fine here on this system. This is an old inactive phone that Charlie gave me just to do demos, but you can see, kind of just want to show you guys reaction times here for Android Auto. What else can we take a look at? Take a look at the weather. So you've never understood this. What's the weather?
Right now in Ypsilanti Township, it's 59 degrees and sunny. Today, it'll be sunny, with a forecasted high of 60 and a low of 34.
Okay, so that'll tell you the weather on there. And, well, that's just about it here with Android Auto. Pretty good look. No real complaints. I hate when Android Auto doesn't take up the full screen, and luckily here it does. Toyota icon there to get you back to the main menu. As you can see here, with Android, it does show this slightly differently. It looks like you can add contacts here, and pressing up here will take you to this menu that shows you what media source you have. Otherwise, though, I mean, overall, this is not the first Toyota system that we've taken a look at here on Daily Motor, and I'm sure it won't be the last. This system, I feel, is certainly on its way out. It is feeling pretty old at this point, but it works well enough, and I think it feels just modern enough to be excusable, but I could definitely see them replacing this within the next year or two. We're starting to see new systems on the Tundra, the Sequoia, and some other cars, so I'll be curious to test out the system on the new Toyota Crown and some of the other new Toyota products. But as for now, this isn't a bad system. It'll do you just fine if you are in the market for a RAV4, especially if you're using phone projection. So there you guys go. I hope that was somewhat useful for you. And that will just about wrap it up for us today. So thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you're curious to learn more about the RAV4 Prime, we will have links in the description to other videos on this car. But that'll wrap it up. This has been Chris here with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.